Since 2019, the amount of money the average American family spends on youth sports has surged by 46%. That inflation rate is double the rest of the U.S. economy, and it alters the financial landscape of parenting. For families pushing toward elite, travel, and club tiers, the costs scale aggressively. They regularly spend between $3,000 and $10,000 a year per athlete. By the time a child reaches their junior year of high school, a family can easily accumulate a $50,000 total investment. At this level, a behavioral economics concept called the sunk cost fallacy takes hold. This is the irrational human tendency to continue investing in a losing proposition, simply because of the time and money already spent. Parents feel compelled to justify the previous $50,000 by spending even more. This chart compares financial input against statistical reality. On the left, the towering $50,000 cumulative cost of elite youth sports. On the right, fewer than 2% secure a Division I roster spot. This massive gap triggers severe panic by 11th grade without college offers. This forces a difficult decision. Do you pivot your resources entirely, or do you double down and pay a legacy recruiting platform thousands of dollars to supposedly buy access to college coaches? The extreme anxiety parents feel right now is an intended feature of the market. The hyper-commercialized youth sports ecosystem is deliberately designed to weaponize parental love for profit. The panic to buy recruiting services is largely driven by a single financial misunderstanding: the assumption that an athletic scholarship will eventually pay for the total cost of a college education. This table contrasts headcount and equivalency sports. Headcount sports, like football, mandate full rides. For equivalency sports like baseball, coaches divide scholarships across a massive roster. An average $10,000 scholarship barely offsets a $50,000 tuition bill. The return on investment here collapses. A family will routinely spend $40,000 on club fees and travel tournaments over 4 years, all to secure a scholarship that acts as a 25% tuition discount. Operating under the myth of the guaranteed full ride drains family savings accounts and retirement funds. It financially cripples households while continuing to fund the legacy youth sports infrastructure. For the highly active, high-spending parent, the breaking point usually hits right after September 1st of their child's junior year. That is the date college coaches are legally permitted to initiate direct contact, and for most families, the deadline passes in total silence. Reacting to that silence, parents frequently write a $3,000 check to a legacy recruiting platform. They purchase premium tiers under the promise that the platform will grant them direct access to college recruiters. This flowchart tracks exactly what happens to that $3,000. The payment triggers a massive wave of identical, automated emails sent to hundreds of college programs. The legacy platform simply functions as a mass-templated email cannon. The immediate result on the collegiate side is total rejection. College recruiters recognize the automated formatting from these networks and immediately route the emails directly into a digital spam folder without opening them. The access model also pulls families into a secondary trap: third-party identification camps and showcases. These events charge entry fees ranging from $500 to $1,500 and pack hundreds of athletes onto a single field. If an athlete attends one of these massive showcases without having engaged in personalized, proactive dialogue with specific coaches beforehand, they are functionally invisible to college recruiters. The legacy access model sells an illusion that falls apart under mathematical scrutiny. Paying premium fees to mass email coaches and attend crowded camps is effectively paying thousands of dollars to shout into a void. To keep parents paying, these platforms heavily gamify the process. They send automated alerts claiming a college coach has viewed an athlete's profile. Parents later discover that the viewing coach belongs to a Division III institution, a classification that is legally prohibited from offering athletic scholarships. We can see how aggressive the government's posture is toward these kinds of deceptive marketing tactics by looking at the Federal Trade Commission, or FTC. The FTC maintains strict oversight over lead generation and educational marketplaces. The fear-based sales scripts and phantom prospect alerts used in youth sports closely mirror the tactics penalized in landmark federal crackdowns. For example, the FTC secured a $191 million settlement against the University of Phoenix for using deceptive advertising to lure students with fabricated career prospects. The breaking point for parents arrives when they realize they paid a premium fee but still have to draft the emails and edit the highlight videos themselves because the platform's automated templates yield zero authentic responses. The narrative that families are exploiting a secret recruiting backdoor by paying for these services is false. The reality is that the industry is actively exploiting the families. Faced with glitchy software and zero traction, anxious parents often hijack the operational labor. They take over the outreach process to protect their massive financial investment and force an outcome. In sports psychology, this is known as achievement by proxy distortion, or ABPD. It occurs when a parent's self-worth becomes entirely entangled with their child's athletic success, creating severe internal family conflict and heavy friction. When a parent drafts the emails or calls the recruiting offices, college coaches notice the interference immediately. They routinely drop the recruit from their prospect list, interpreting the parent's involvement as a signal that the athlete lacks independence and maturity. Hijacking the narrative strips the athlete of their agency. It accelerates adolescent burnout, fractures the family dynamic, and actively destroys the exact collegiate opportunity the parent is trying to buy. The mechanics of recruiting shifted drastically with the House versus NCAA antitrust settlement finalized in 2025. This legal agreement rewrote the financial rules for college sports. The settlement establishes direct revenue sharing from universities to their student athletes. To accommodate this, the NCAA completely eliminated its historical scholarship limits, allowing schools to theoretically offer athletic aid to every player. To counterbalance unlimited scholarships, the NCAA implemented a hard bottleneck, strict roster caps across all collegiate sports. These constraints mean coaches no longer have the margin to carry bloated rosters of unscholarshiped developmental players. It is the absolute death of the traditional walk-on athlete. Because coaches can now distribute athletic aid across the entire capped roster, an athlete's high school grade point average, or GPA, and standardized test scores become the ultimate recruiting currency. If a recruit qualifies for institutional academic merit aid, it saves the coach from spending their highly limited athletic scholarship dollars. Navigating this post-house environment with outdated mass emailing strategies guarantees failure. The strategic alternative to the legacy spam networks is the insourced competence model. Instead of paying for an illusion of access, families build their own operational infrastructure and learn the actual mechanics of communication. For parents of 8th to 10th graders, the mandate is straightforward. Ignore the panic marketing of paid platforms entirely and allocate your resources toward actual academic and athletic skill acquisition. For parents of high school juniors and seniors, the timeline requires an immediate pivot. They must abandon automated mass emailing and execute highly targeted surgical outreach to a curated list of realistic college programs. Executing this successfully requires a severe psychological shift. The parent must relinquish daily control, stepping down from the role of the driver and becoming the navigator. When parents provide the right educational frameworks, the adolescent athlete can confidently take ownership of their own narrative. Their direction snaps into alignment. Collegiate programs do not want to recruit anxious, overinvested parents. They are actively looking for autonomous young adults who demonstrate the executive function required to handle a demanding college schedule. True access to college coaching staffs cannot be bought with a credit card or a premium subscription. It must be built through a verified athletic profile and direct professional communication that a coach cannot ignore. Families must stop panic buying illusions from the youth sports machine. Instead, they should invest in the specific operational infrastructure and educational tools that empower the athlete to execute the labor themselves. The ultimate objective is not to chase the mathematically rare illusion of a full-ride sports scholarship. The objective is to optimize for the right holistic and academic university fit, using athletics as a lever for access rather than a lottery ticket.